This is the new Fujifilm Instax SQ10, and it's an instant film camera just like all the Instax cameras that have come before it, but with one huge difference. It's also digital. This is Fujifilm's attempt at taking the fleeting fun that's associated with its Instax cameras and finding a way to keep it relevant in the age of Instagram. Now they did that by putting a 3.7 megapixel sensor inside and a 3-inch LCD screen on the back. Now this camera also uses a new format of Instax film. It's called Instax Square, and it's a little bit bigger than the Instax Mini, and a little bit smaller than the Instax Wide. There's two different ways to shoot with the SQ10. There's an auto mode where it prints everything that you shoot, and there's a manual mode that lets you shoot digitally as much as you want and decide what to print later. You can also edit those photos. There's 10 filters built in, a vignette tool, and an exposure tool. Now, one of my favorite things about the SQ10 is actually the animation that plays when you print a photo. It is a total gimmick, but it's also one of the most fun traits of the camera. It's also a sign of just how much this camera can delight people. People get genuinely happy when they see it start printing photos. They all want to be the one that's holding the picture while it develops, and they all also want to be the one that gets to take that picture home. The difference with this camera, more than any other Instax, is that you can finally accommodate that request. It's also easier than ever to try out the creative modes like double exposure or long shutter, because you can try until you finally dial it in, all without wasting a print. The battery's great too. It'll last you through a full weekend of shooting, editing, and printing. You pay a price for all that though, literally. The film packs cost $17 each, and the camera itself costs $279. Luckily, the camera performs well enough that that price doesn't seem so unreasonable. It turns on fast, it focuses fast, it shoots fast. The only hangups I really had was that it can definitely miss exposure from time to time, and it's a bit awkward to get back to the live view from playback mode. The viewing angle of the screen, which is not a touchscreen, is also pretty bad. You have to be looking straight at it to get a good read of anything that you're framing up. Otherwise, it's really easy to use. The shutter buttons on the front are satisfying, as well as the ones on the back. Now the new Square film is just like Instax film in the past. It's super contrasty, it's got good colors, but it's definitely going to take you a few packs to get a feel for it. And the flash on this camera is strong, but it's not strong enough to wash things out. It can actually help create some of the best photos this camera has to offer, and that's coming from someone who doesn't usually shoot with flash. Now the most dumbfounding thing about this camera is that it's not connected. To get the files from this camera to your phone, you have to take the micro SD out of the camera, put it in an adapter, put that in your computer, and then get those files to your phone from there. For a camera that's supposed to be all about the Instagram generation, it feels awfully disconnected from Instagram. Now maybe it's good that it's not connected, in the sense that you don't wind up interrupting the moment to focus your attention on which photo you want to post to Instagram or some other social media network. And besides, Instax cameras have always been at their best when they've been used to capture fleeting moments like at parties and with friends. Something that the SQ10 is missing is that sense of urgency. With other Instax cameras, people know that their time and attention is precious, and so they're more willing to play along so that you don't waste film. That goes away when they know that you can take 20,000 photos and print the best later. Now don't get me wrong, there is something I love about the idea of this camera. It's sort of what I always thought would make me want to buy an Instax in the first place. And Fujifilm got a lot right here. I really love the design, I love the way it feels to grip and shoot with it, and the interface is quick and fun. The printed pictures look great, and the hoarder in me is happy to have digital backups. But now that it's here, I'm realizing this idea isn't all I thought it would be. Maybe a more connected version of this camera is exactly what I'm looking for, or maybe I just need to learn to cut the cord and stick to instant film. Oh no, why did it just print that one? That one was so bad. Just gonna be Tina from Bob's Burgers.